Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Turnpike Sports, I'm Dave Weishottle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishottle. Doug, if you were a sports bettor this weekend, you were part of a bloodbath.
Tell me about it. And I was part of a bloodbath.
Well, just for the, I won a couple prop bets on player props and things like that. Lamar Jackson, the rushing yards and things like that. But my picks of last week, I went 0-3. I went with the Jets, I went with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I went with the Indianapolis Colts. So,
well, I went
ouch.
with the Jets too, so ouch on that. And I thought the Raiders were at least going to try and keep close to Kansas City.
Yeah, what was that? You had the Raiders was
plus 10.
Plus 10. Oh, wow. Yeah, that wasn't even. I was watching that game, and you know it was getting bad when they switch over to the next game. They switch over to the Chargers-Broncos game, and the Chargers blew it too again.
Well, the Chargers are finding really interesting ways to lose games.
Fascinating. So. And I feel bad for Patriot bettors.
No, I don't.
Well, they were,
I'm sorry.
75% of the bets went on the Patriots for the Sunday night game, and the Texans just blew them away.
Well, the Texans pretty much really did expose the fact that offense for the Patriots is bad.
Is struggling a lot. Well, we got a great show coming up. Of course, our picks are later on in the show, and also later on in the show, we have the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. And I have a great interview this week, part one of my interview with Lance Bradley from PocketFives.com, USBets.com, and Better Collective. They started online poker in Pennsylvania, and Lance is going to tell us all about it. But like I said, it's a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. And today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. Now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when you use our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, we made it all the way through almost an entire football season before this happened.
If this is what I think you're referring to, I'm surprised it took this long for a story like this to break.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened more often this year, especially with the casino deals the NFL's doing and some of the sports betting deals that are going on.
Well, of course, what are we talking about?
But here, let me set the stage. The Arizona Cardinals, Josh Shaw, has been suspended through the 2020 NFL season. He's on IR this season. He's going to be suspended for the 2020 season for betting on NFL games.
Okay. Well, and in his defense, he's appealing.
He's appealing right now.
Okay.
He's going to be filing an appeal this week. Okay. He had 3 days from when the suspension was announced, which was at the beginning of the week.
All right.
And he's doing an appeal now. What happened was he went to Caesars in Las Vegas. He filled out a betting account form, that everyone does when you go to a Las Vegas sports book.
Okay.
He filed it with his name. He listed as his occupation professional football player.
Okay.
Yeah, there not a lot of bright things going on here, but he put professional football player as his occupation on the betting account slips. After he placed his bets, he did a parlay bet in which one of the bets in the parlay was against his own team.
See, that's interesting because
and they were second half bets. They were second half bets.
Okay, well, rumors were coming out that he placed the bet, but it had anything to do with the Arizona Cardinals. But now it came to light. I guess he had a parlay where one of those bets was against his own team.
It was a 3-team parlay.
All right,
all second half bets,
all right.
And it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 1 or -1, or they were favored by 1 for the second half against the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't win that, so he lost his parlay anyway. But and what's interesting to me is the fact that he was betting on second half of games for a parlay. Kind of tells me he's been doing this for a while, because not a lot of novice bettors know that you can do a second half bet.
I don't know what a lot of novice bettors now know, because there's so much about sports betting in the news and the media. There's podcasts, there's radio shows, there's TV shows, there's periodicals, there's websites devoted to betting. And, I don't know how much people can pick up that quickly. So who knows? He might have saw something like that on TV or read something about it.
So you're going with the benefit of the doubt thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just,
Okay.
You don't have to be a sophisticated bettor to know you can bet on second half, because it's all over the place.
Well,
watch Lock It In today. Someone's going to bet on the second half or the first half or the first period of a hockey game or something like that,
Well, right now in his appeal, he can't even use the Pete Rose defense. Because remember, Pete Rose was caught for gambling on baseball, but his defense was, I never bet against my own team.
Sure.
So, but he did it. But you know what? Going with your little train of thought where he may have just been an innocent bettor, and that was one of the first times he's done
first off, he shouldn't have been betting in the first place.
The fact that he put football player on his betting account information.
Yeah, I guess, did he have a Players Club card too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what happened, he made the bet, and Caesars reported it to the Nevada Gaming Control Board.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's what they're supposed to do.
Now, aren't they a partner with the NFL?
Yeah.
Or they're a,
they're
a sponsor? Or
the first thing they did, they reported to the Gaming Control Board in Nevada. They also reported to the NFL.
Okay.
Now, whether the train went Caesars, Control Board, NFL, or Caesars to both at the same time, I think it was more the Gaming Control Board notified the NFL afterwards. But Caesars reported it.
Now, where was this done? Was this Nevada?
This was in Las Vegas.
Okay, all right. I'm just surprised. Why would he go in person? They have.
He was there with his friends.
Oh, so he was there with his friends.
He was there night out, that sort of thing, or a day out, or whatever. But the NFL investigated it once they got the information. They found out, and especially since it's a parlay, you can't really fix a game if it's the bet's part of a parlay.
That's true.
So the NFL found that it did not impact the game whatsoever. It didn't affect anything. There was no integrity issues, really.
Okay.
He was just betting. And part of the NFL's policy on betting, which they sent out a memo shortly before this happened to all the teams.
Well, shortly before
the suspension was announced.
Him. So,
yeah.
Okay.
All NFL personnel are prohibited from placing, soliciting, or facilitating any bet, whether directly or indirectly through a third party, or on any NFL game, practice, or other event. And that right there it's a pretty
complete statement.
Yeah.
It pretty much covers all the bases.
And what they go on to say is that if anyone's caught doing that, they're terminated. Now it's not just the players; it's any employee of an NFL team.
I'm curious. I know the official statement from the NFL is he's suspended through the 2020 season.
Right.
I mean, after that, can he come back? I know there's been some precedent set
right.
for
Paul Hornung,
yeah.
And also Alex Karras of the Chicago Bears.
They were suspended for a year.
The Detroit Lions, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were suspended for a year.
Both of them.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Different occasions.
Different occasions. The Paul Hornung, Hall of Famer from the Green Bay Packers.
Both got reinstated the following year.
Yep.
Also, Art Schlichter from the Baltimore Colts.
Okay.
Colts. He was suspended in '83. That was the most recent one.
All right.
Not only for betting on NFL games, but other sports too.
All right.
And he was suspended for a year. He got reinstated.
So I'm curious to see what the NFL does after the 2020 season, and I'm also curious to see the outcome of his appeal.
Well, the problem with Shaw's appeal right now is, again, he bet against his own team.
Yep.
And also, he may be the poster boy for this. The NFL may make an example, not overturn the appeal.
Well,
not overturn the suspension on the appeal.
It is certainly a lesson for other players or other employees of the NFL because, well, as you said, the casino itself reported it.
Well, Caesars is a partner of the NFL.
Sure,
They'd be stupid not to report it.
Of course.
So, we'll see what happens.
Exit 2.
Okay, moving from the fun world of betting to eSports here.
Equally fun world.
Not according to the story I'm going to be talking about here. There is some segments of the esports industry that are really concerned about the lack of female representation in esports.
Are they talking about players, or are they talking about owners of teams, or is this like across the board?
This is players.
This is players.
Competitive players.
Okay, competitive players.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the chief executive officer of Team Vitality Esports went so far as to say that female representation in esports is in a terrible state.
Okay.
According to a study published by market researcher Interpret, female viewership of esports did grow from 23% in 2016 to just over 30% in 2018, but the women are not watching the championships.
Okay.
That also translates into that the women are not playing on the teams. And they're saying there's a couple different reasons possibly for this. Let's see. They're blaming the original video game marketers. Mm-hmm. They're marketing it more toward boys, okay. And so it's just the way the culture is. Where
okay, all right.
Everything's they're not marketing to women, so women aren't playing the competitive esports, mm-hmm. and they're not translating into players. There's also the fact that there is a lot of bias towards esports female players, pros.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean we've seen
I
stuff
thought it was
in
like
the past.
One big brother sisterhood kind of thing.
No.
Maybe you know what? Maybe they should have more characters. The female characters in the video games. You know, I see all these commercials for the different like shoot 'em up games and things like that. You know, they're all male characters. Maybe get a couple females in there. You know.
Well, they're hoping things start to change, and they want to start looking at trying to incorporate more casual mobile games into the esports realm because most women, according to the study, play those more than the shoot 'em ups.
What does casual mean? What does that mean?
You know, like Candy Crush and all those other.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Is that considered esports? I guess it would.
Everything
be.
is.
Everything's okay. All right.
I mean, if you could put a team around it.
I never think of that as an esport kind of game.
Well, also anything that's like an adventure game, World of Warcraft, that sort of thing. There's a lot more women playing that than the shoot 'em ups.
I got a
like
great
Call
idea.
of Duty.
I got a great idea. Everyone can take it. It'll increase female viewership, and it'll get people paid. You know. The female U.S. soccer team should have a esports league, you know? Have the character there. Have a character with a purple hair in there that kids can play. It's a great idea, isn't it?
I'm going to shut your mic off now.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. You know, it's a good idea.
I know. Hey, you get females involved in the sport.
Well, soccer's not the problem.
I know, but they're doing a lot of esports with the actual, like basketball themed esports, soccer themed esports. You would think you would have more women playing them because there's more women playing basketball and soccer.
Well, let's see what happens with the soccer because remember the soccer, the FIFA league or whatever the hell that is over there, the actual physical teams, not the esports teams.
Yeah,
they're launching that cartoon. That's going to be about the Manchester United Academy, and it's going to have both men and women characters.
Oh, good for them.
So,
see, well, maybe that'll help.
That kind of stuff. They do want to push more outreach. You joked about the film for the NFL betting.
Yeah, okay. Well,
they might be starting to look at doing something like that for esports, but
great.
Right now they're more concerned about trying to figure out a way to get more competitive female esports players into the market.
Exit 3.
The NHL will be experimenting, or I should say further experimenting, with the puck and player tracking.
Haven't they been doing this? I thought they've been doing this.
They're going to be doing this at the 2020 Honda NHL All-Star Game in St. Louis, and they're hoping that the system will be up and running and ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So they're going to start incorporating this into real
So
games.
they're hoping this would add another betting element to it. Is this what's going on? Is this the prop bet central kind of stuff going on?
I'm going with the innocent look as they just want to create more data points per second.
Yeah, well, okay.
Basically, they're going to be putting sensors in the pucks and on players, which they do already. And you're right, they did try this last year.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I heard a story about
the
this.
NHL experimented with the system. They did 2 games in Las Vegas, and they did last year's All-Star game, too, the one in San Jose. Now, I remember watching some of it, and I remember watching some of it online as well. And from what I've been reading and some of this press stuff that was for the show here, NBC went above and beyond what they should have done for the tracking systems. Because I remember watching it, there was colors all over the place. There were lines here. There were like dotted things.
I didn't
here.
see that. I know they're expanding the coverage of basketball games. Of like the different stats and things like that. The betting alternative viewer experiment that they're doing. But I've never seen hockey.
NBC did it on purpose because during the game they were for the All-Star game for the player and puck tracking.
And NHL. Okay.
NHL. NBC did it on purpose. They went and they turned on all the features at one point. They turned some on, some off. They wanted to see what worked and what didn't. They were experimenting trial and error throughout the broadcast, the alternative broadcasts.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. Yeah.
So what you're going to be seeing at some point during these broadcasts, these new ones for the 2020 All-Star game, you're going to see nameplates called pointers identifying players as they move. They're also going to give the shift length, skating speeds, distance traveled as they're skating. They're going to have a rail along the bottom of the screen showing headshots of who's on the ice, player shift lengths, skating speeds, distance. There's also going to be a rail on the right side of the screen, which is going to show other information from shot speeds to offensive zone time. They're also going to have ISO cams highlighting a certain player, and you're going to have to be aware of the color schemes. They're going to be using gray trails are going to show the path of the puck. Blue trails are going to be the players.
I'm going to miss the entire hockey game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all this crap on the screen. I'm going to miss what's actually happening on the ice.
There's going to be too much on the alternate broadcast to actually pay attention.
That's a little much.
And Commissioner Bettman told everyone at this press conference that it's going to start out just as a broadcast enhancement.
I love these words that they use, broadcast enhancement.
But he said they're going to see exactly what data is informational and useful for the viewers and people, bettors. And they are saying that at some point they may use the system to enhance officiating and video review.
See, I get it there. All right, I get the more information the official has, the better the game will be. But, for an actual viewer, that might be a little much.
Well, viewer equals better.
Yeah, I guess so.
Exit 4.
As of November 27th, the Arena Football League is no more.
That's sad. It's sad. We called. Atlantic City finally got a team. We were meaning to go down and watch a game in, where the hell was it? Boardwalk Hall?
Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah, never got down to it.
As of November 27th, they have filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Okay.
That means they're done. Chapter 11 is a reorganization plan. Chapter 7, they're not going to reorganize.
So there's no chance of the teams coming back?
No.
Wow.
Unless they reform a league or go into some of the other leagues. There's that indoor football league still out there. They're still going strong. Mm-hmm. But they suspended local operations in early October, and they were evaluating a different way of doing the league. I mean, they had talked about that barnstorming idea, taking the teams on the road and just playing all the teams in different cities instead of having home teams. But that didn't work out. They started out with 19 teams when they first came out of the gate.
Wow. Yeah.
They drew almost 13,000 fans per game, and at the time of collapse, they only had 6.
Huh. Jeez.
And they were only getting about half the audience size. They're refunding all the tickets.
Okay.
They're also supposedly going to be paying everybody that was part of the teams to a certain extent. I don't know how much they're going to be able to pay because they're actually still dealing with that lawsuit that was filed against them a while back for workers' comp.
Okay.
Right now, 3 of the teams were owned by one owner, Jaworski's company. He's part of all that. The Seoul, Albany Empire, Atlantic City were all owned by the same owner.
Yeah, it was Jaworski's group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were 2 others, the Washington Valor and Baltimore Brigade, both owned by Ted Leonsis.
Huh, okay.
So 5 of the 6 teams were owned by 2 people.
Well.
The only other team that wasn't owned by those 2, the Columbus Destroyers.
Oh, all right.
And the Blackjacks, the Atlantic City Blackjacks, and the Columbus Destroyers only played 1 season before this happened.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm kicking myself for not going down to Boardwalk Hall to check out a game.
Well, you might be able to still get some apparel.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I was on the Atlantic City Blackjack site not too long ago. It was still up.
Really?
The AFL site is still up.
Well, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today and now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And don't forget, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. 609-512-5910. Facebook and Twitter at Turnpike Sports is the handle on both those social media pages. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. You can also subscribe to the show at Pandora Podcasts, iHeartMedia, iTunes, Stitcher, radio.com mobile app the show is available through. And you can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire devices. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the OTT channel there. And you can also catch us on YouTube.
And stick around because later we're going to have our NFL picks, and then we're also going to have our Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But next, there's online poker in Pennsylvania, and coming up next is part 1 of my interview with Lance Bradley from PocketFives.com, USBets.com, and Better Collective. We're going to talk all things online poker in the great state of Pennsylvania. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from Turnpike Sports with this week's Bet Flash. An NFL player has been suspended by the league for gambling on games. Arizona Cardinals defensive back Josh Shaw has been suspended through the 2020 season for allegedly betting on league games on multiple occasions. Prior to suspending Shaw, the NFL had sent out a memo reminding teams that any employees of the league who gambled on football would be terminated. RSC Ventures, which is a company owned by Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, has invested in the sports gambling company The Action Network. According to the Action Network, RSE Ventures invested $17.5 million into the digital media network. And finally, according to the Oregon Lottery, the sports betting app called Scoreboard has taken in over $13 million of bets since its launch in mid-October. One lucky player turned their $5 bet into a win of over $81,000. The bet was a 15-game parlay involving EuroLeague women and EuroCup women's basketball games. Very interesting bet. From the seaside to the desert, from the betting lines to the sites online, Turnpike Sports has got you covered. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Turnpike Sports.
Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here.
Use offer code SPICE404.
They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Well, it's finally happened. It's been a long time coming, but Pennsylvania has gone live with online poker. What's it mean for the Keystone State, and what's it mean for the future of online poker? We'll talk all about that with our next guest. You've read his books, you've read his articles, and heard his great podcast on pocket5s.com. Of course, I'm talking about Lance Bradley, who's appearing courtesy of Better Collective and USBets.com. Lance, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate the chance to come on and chat about this a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as I said in the beginning, online poker, it's been a long time coming for a lot of people. In your opinion, what took the state so long to go live with online poker?
Wow, that's the answer there is probably a perfect storm of a bunch of things. It was basically 2 years from the time legislation passed until the first hand of online poker was played in the state. There was sports betting before that in the state. There was casino before that. And part of that is that those are bigger revenue generators. Those are where they want to put their focus because they're going to make more money from running an online sports book and running an online casino than they will from online poker. If this was 5 years ago, we could talk about online poker being the driving force behind getting regulation in states. And now it's sports betting, and poker gets to come on for the ride. That's what happened here is the operators, they're just so focused on casino and sports right now that poker is taking a back seat a little bit. But Poker Stars seems to be a little bit ahead of the curve a little bit, and they got everything in order, and we're the first to launch, and probably will be the only site available through the end of this year.
Well, you mentioned two other big things happening in the gambling world. And when it comes to gambling in Pennsylvania, everyone pointed to the fees and the tax rate of the Commonwealth as a big deterrent. However, it didn't seem like it was a real big deterrent for the sports books or the online casinos. Do you think online poker entities will follow suit and go live with their online poker platforms regardless of the cost to do business in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think that once you get the first two verticals sorted out, poker just becomes a simple add-on, and it's you've got to find ways to drive as much revenue through those verticals as you can, and they know that poker is a good way to get people introduced to your sports betting product and to your casino product. And likewise, we know that sports bettors cross over into playing online poker pretty well. So the sites want to have those three things up and running, and probably a fourth with some DFS if they can make it work in a sustainable way. But yeah, I think we're going to see the bigger operators come on board with online poker soon. They just want to get all their ducks in a row, you know?
So right now, I think you mentioned it. Right now, who is operating in the state when it comes to online poker in Pennsylvania?
So the only site that's operational right now is PokerStars PA, which is through their partnership with the Mount Airy Casino Resort.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this must be huge for PokerStars. I mean, they've had a rocky past with online poker in the U.S. I mean, they're legal in New Jersey and they're legal in Pennsylvania. But right now, what is their status in Nevada?
Tricky question. They definitely want to be in Nevada because it gives them another state to add on. There is liquidity sharing between New Jersey and Nevada. There isn't yet with Pennsylvania. But they definitely want to be in Nevada. It's a matter of going through some red tape, and I think from what we're seeing through some other operators trying to get their license up and running in that state, it's a little heavier there than maybe any other state. And I think that they've got some partnerships. I know they've got a somewhat of a deal with Eldorado Gaming, which might come into play in terms of getting them a Nevada license, but there is some red tape to get through. They're no longer, they were part of they were held out for 5 years as part of their doing business after UIGA passed, basically cost them a 5-year penalty box. They're out of that penalty box now. They've got to figure out if they want to launch. The problem with Nevada is that it's not a big state population-wise, and
Sure.
When you look at the raw numbers from just Nevada residents, it's not fantastic. The real win, though, comes once you can start merging player pools and getting some liquidity building and time zone overlapping a little bit. So I think that's the win there for them. But I know they want to be in Nevada. I think it's just a matter of some red tape they've got to go through probably over the next 6 to 12 months.
Well, like you said, they want to be in Nevada. So how critical is their success in Pennsylvania in getting into Nevada? Is it critical, or they're in New Jersey? If they're doing well in New Jersey, if they do well in Pennsylvania, is it an easier entrance into Nevada for PokerStars?
Maybe just from a regulatory standpoint, they can show that they've got two states that they're working with that are independent. They're not using the same regulators or whatnot. They can show Nevada Gaming that they've got two regulators they're working with, and they're following all the rules and they're passing all the protocols. But I don't know how much of a difference it'll make that they're in Pennsylvania. This is, as anybody who's ever applied for any sort of license, whether it's gaming or driving or whatever, there's paperwork to be filled out. And gaming commissions and regulatory bodies are known for making sure that there is a lot of contracts to fill out and a lot of rules to follow and a lot of background checks to be done. So I think that it's just a matter of time and making sure that they're going to be able to regain the cost associated with launching there.
Let me ask you about the rollout in Pennsylvania. Have you heard of any problems or glitches with the rollout with the online poker platforms? I got to tell you, being in New Jersey, I remember the launch here, and there were problems with the geolocation. There were issues with banks that didn't want to be involved with online gambling. Have you heard of any problems in Pennsylvania with the rollout of the online poker site?
Yeah, that's one of the things we were watching during the soft launch and the first day of full launch. Because we remember, just like you, New Jersey being a disaster. Let's be honest, the first. I can tell stories of. I flew to New Jersey to play specifically. Went to Atlantic City, was staying in the Borgata, and was told I can't play on Party Poker, which was a Borgata platform, because I'm not physically in New Jersey. And I can prove I am. I can show you. I'm in your hotel. Another time we flew in to test out some software, and we ended up. We drove across state lines. Jumped into a coffee shop, didn't work, drove forever, until we finally found a place that they could geolocate. And I think what the difference is that they figured out the technology, because we've seen some people have issues with geolocation in Pennsylvania, but I would say it is a 50th of what we saw in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. If that, it feels like they've really got this locked down and figured out. We've seen some. There was one gentleman who lives near an airport, and I believe that's causing him some problems on geolocation, just because of who his internet provider is and then the way that they route their traffic. So they've definitely got to figure it out. The headaches of that first 3 months in New Jersey are non-existent in Pennsylvania. We haven't had those issues, which is a relief, to say the least.
I can tell you a story about New Jersey. When it first rolled out, I live about 7 to 10 miles away from the Pennsylvania border. The geolocation was so crazy that I could play poker in my living room. However, they were telling me my bedroom was too close to Pennsylvania, and I don't live in a big house. So I like you said, I'm assuming the geolocation has gotten much better since then.
Thankfully, yes.
Yes. Talk to me about what the games Pennsylvania is offering. Did they roll out all their games right now? Is it cash games? Are they offering tournaments? And are there any limits to what a player can expect when they play poker online in Pennsylvania?
So if you haven't played online poker, or particularly on PokerStars, since before Black Friday, you're going to notice a little bit different. There is cash games available, sit and goes available, and multi-table tournaments. They haven't rolled out the spin and goes, which I don't believe were in existence before Black Friday, which is a lottery-style sit and go tournament where you enter and your prize could be anywhere from 3x to 1,000x, whatever your buy-in was. So they haven't rolled those out in New Jersey yet, or in Pennsylvania. They do have them in New Jersey. But you've got a really good selection of what's going on. It's mostly no limit hold'em on the cash game side. There is some pot limit Omaha. And, a few players have jumped into the 8-game mix and whatnot, but it is mostly no limit hold'em. The sit and goes run pretty regularly, considering the population of that state, and the tournaments have been really good. We've been tracking the Sunday majors, we call them, which are the bigger events every Sunday, and they've done really well. They were down week 2 over week 1, but I think that's to be expected because week 1 everybody was excited. It was back, and they got to fire at a bunch of different tournaments. Now probably being a little bit more cautious and playing through some satellites and whatnot to get in, rather than just dumping the entire bankroll in on a Sunday afternoon. And I think the most exciting thing, it's not a surprise, I don't think, but PokerStars launched the Pennsylvania Championship of Online Poker, PA Coupe. They've run these worldwide forever. W Coupe it was one, Scoop was another. In New Jersey, they've had NJ Coupe now for a few years. We're talking 50 events over a little over 2 weeks and $1 million guaranteed total. That's going to be the sort of big first moment for Pennsylvania Online Poker, is when they get through that series and can show some robust numbers, I think.
You know, one of the big stories about online poker a couple of years ago was the sharing of player pools through the interstate compacts. And what has thrown a wrench into that was the reinterpretation of the Wire Act. For people who are not familiar with the situation, can you give us a background on that? And how do you see that affecting online poker, especially in Pennsylvania, who I'm sure wants to be part of an interstate compact?
Yeah, so where to start on this one? And nobody who wrote the Wire Act is still in politics today. That's how dated this legislation is, this act, this bill. And it's frustrating because it's written in a way that makes it, I can't phone you and place a sports bet over the phone. That's basically what the act says. With modern technology, that's never been updated. I mean, we've been playing online poker, online casino, online sports books for decades now. They've never bothered to update this. They've just tried to reinterpret what it means every time. And whether it's the use of a phone line to connect to the internet or digital means of some sort, this act prevents, depending on the interpretation, of course, prevents you from using phone lines or using communication devices to gamble. And what's happened now is the Obama administration came out and said, we just think the Wire Act only applies to sports betting. So if you're running a casino through a regulatory body in the United States or online poker, you are more than welcome to do so. And that spurred on New Jersey, Nevada, and Delaware to share player pools and to allow the operators in each state that are on the same platform to have players play against each other. So rather than just New Jersey players playing against New Jersey and Nevada and Delaware are all part of the same group for cash games or for tournaments. Pennsylvania isn't on board yet, and the reason why is because the new administration has decided that the Wire Act applies to any form of gambling, and interstate communication is a big part of that. It's a problem. And so it's part of the reason why we only had, you asked why there hasn't been a lot of online poker operators in Pennsylvania so far. And this new interpretation is part of the problem. The administration has been sued over this interpretation, and the case is now in court. It's been delayed again until December 20th for the next phase to find out where exactly we're at with it. Everybody I've talked to, and again, these are people who stand to prosper should the right ruling come out, believe that the courts are going to rule in the favor of the gaming regulators, that this Wire Act doesn't apply to online poker. And I think that's a big win for us, because then you're going to see PokerStars PA and PokerStars New Jersey potentially get together and merge. What needs to happen there? It's not up to the operator. The regulators in each state need to come together and agree on revenue sharing and how it all works, the nuts and bolts of sharing players across state lines. I think that happens relatively quickly. Then you need the regulators to get on board with the politicians and make sure that the right document is signed that says it's okay for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Nevada, Delaware to all play on the same platform and to share surprises. What that means is that the cash game selection gets better. The sit and goes run more often, and the guaranteed tournaments, multi-table tournaments, are much, much bigger.
And that was part one of my interview with Lance Bradley. Next week, we'll have part two, all about online poker in Pennsylvania. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, before we get into a couple of the news and notes from around the country, I wanted to go through what happened on Sunday a little bit, because Sunday was not a good day for bettors.
No, it was not.
We talked about this at the
Yeah.
top of the show. Going into the night game, the Patriots-Houston game.
Which I heard, the final report I heard on that was about 75% of all the tickets went on the Patriots.
And about 80% of the money.
Okay, all right.
Most of the books had reported that they were up going into the night game. A decent amount, pretty good amount. Those are some of the quotes being bandied about. Underdogs were 6-5 against the spread. So they ended the day 6-6 because Houston was not favored.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I thank God for the garbage touchdown because I hit the over.
Yeah.
It was 46.5. I went over.
MGM Sportsbooks reported they were up in the mid six figures going into the game.
Wow.
And they needed Houston to continue that win.
Well, Houston gave it to them.
Yeah. And over in New Jersey, the Packers and the Giants were battling at Meadowlands. And at William Hill, the largest reported bet of the day for that game, a bettor on William Hill placed a $440,000 bet on the Giants plus 6.5.
Wow.
The Giants didn't even show up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over in for the night game, DraftKings reported taking a $565,000 bet on the Texans.
Well, good for him. Good for him or her. I shouldn't say him all the time. So it's could be anyone.
Netted an amount of $452,000.
How much?
$452,000.
Wow. Okay.
And we had a parlay guy. One better at FanDuel.
See, you're doing it now too. Parlay guy.
Yeah.
Could be a parlay gal.
A
parlay better.
Parlay better. Correctly picked the winner of 12 NFL games.
Okay.
$1 parlay, $10,000 payday.
Oh, wow. What a great dollar.
Yeah.
What a great dollar bet.
Framed that dollar.
Good for them.
And the largest bet on an NBA game that Borgata has ever taken in their history.
I heard about this. Now, this was done in person, or was it mobile, or what was it?
It's a person.
Person, okay. Go ahead.
Saturday.
All right.
The Sacramento Kings Denver Nuggets game. A bettor placed, I didn't say a guy or girl, a bettor placed a $260,000 wager on the over, which was 206.
Wow, okay.
The game went into overtime and still did not.
Wow.
It went under.
Someone's got to do
197.
an analysis of that. How many NBA games that go into overtime and you still don't make the over? What the hell is that?
Well, you got to remember.
That's got to be the rarest of all losses.
Denver does have a good defense, but I can't see an overtime game not doing the over.
So that guy lost. The guy
$260,000.
See, I did it now. The bettor who
the generic guy.
Yeah,
use it that way.
The bettor who placed how much in Borgata?
$260,000.
He lost.
Yeah, he went.
Okay.
He went the over.
Wow.
The total of the game was 197, including the overtime.
Oh, wow.
So obviously no 3-pointers were taken.
I guess not.
No one went to the foul line to make 3-point plays.
You know, whenever you have an over for an NBA game and it goes into overtime, you usually feel pretty secure about it. But unfortunately, this bettor, I think that has to be the rarest of losses when you go with an over.
I have to admit, whenever
it's overtime and you still don't make the over.
For me, more often than not, when I bet on a basketball game, NBA, or even a college, I usually do the over. It's natural to want the over.
Well, the over has been hitting more than the under.
You know what? Obviously not.
Obviously not for that one bettor at Borgata.
It's like an I before E after C. If it goes into overtime, then you lose. I don't know. There's something weird happened to that game that obviously the defenses just had a great night, or the offenses were not shooting good.
Yeah.
But those are little news and notes from what was going on around the betting. But we also have a couple states. West Virginia, they just reported their numbers for the week ending November 9th. Now, remember, West Virginia
is weekly, right?
Right.
All right.
This is the first time in history of sports betting in that state that the online handle was more than the retail handle.
Okay. All right.
If you remember, we talked about this last time on the show. For the week of November 2nd, or the week ending November 2nd. I don't know how it worked there, but the week ending November 2nd, sportsbooks brought in $800 million in wagers. That's revenue.
Okay.
The week ending November 9th, they brought in $8.3 million in handle. So they've actually started growing.
Okay. I'd be interested to see, as winter comes and bad weather, if you're going to see a trend like that, especially in West Virginia, because, the weather's, it's in the east and it's, the weather is bad there too. I mean, if you're going to see more, like as the winter goes on, you're going to see more mobile betting.
Well, the split in West Virginia for that week, 4.1 retail, 4.2 online platforms.
Yeah.
So it's not like New Jersey where it's 85% online, 15%. This is almost even.
This one's over 100%.
Yeah. And Oregon, their online app, the Oregon Lottery's app scoreboard.
Yeah.
All that testing and procedures and everything else. And I remember talking to you about this last week as well.
Yeah, October 16th, I think it opened.
They had expected, they had a 3-month goal of 25,000 users.
Okay.
In the first month, they hit 75,000 users.
Great. Yeah.
So, to date, they have had $13.1 million in wagers placed through the Oregon Scoreboard app.
And I think, I don't know if you have this, but there was a story that came out that someone had a $5 bet and just won a huge amount. Do you have that? Or
on the bettor,
okay,
correctly picked 15 EuroLeague women and Euro Cup women basketball league games.
Good for them. What an expert this bettor must be.
I don't know if that's an expert.
Wow.
Or, I don't even know.
So 15 of them. 15 games. All right.
15 games he won.
Then they bet $5.
$5 bet.
On a 15-game parlay. Okay.
$15,000. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm $81,000. I'm looking at my notes. I've gotten them confused there.
81,900 $81,900 and something dollars off of a $5 15-game parlay.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And this is where the 15,000 I was reading. The biggest bet made on the app was 15,000.
Oh, okay.
On a Spurs-Lakers game.
Well, I hope they won.
They lost.
Oh, they did? Well, good for the sports book.
Yeah. And Oregon, like I said, they brought in $13 million in wagers. They paid out $12.1 million. So $1 million hold.
Okay.
For the app. And last but not least, for this week's book report, PointsBet has officially gone live and online in Iowa.
Wow, congratulations to Iowa and PointsBet.
You got to remember, PointsBet has the physical sportsbook there.
Sure.
They have it in the Catfish Bend Casino in Burlington, Iowa. So they now have a retail and an online sportsbook in Iowa. And the Q Casino in Dubuque also received permission to go online with a sportsbook. Okay. So there's 2 online sports books. And last but not least, the Gaming Council there, we had Brian Orlico on the show talking about Iowa. They approved a sports betting license for Casino Queen Marquette. Now, the only reason I'm mentioning
I don't even know what that is. What is it? That sounds like a riverboat.
It's a retail.
Is it?
It's a retail. It's a brick and mortar casino.
Oh, okay. Anytime I hear like something Queen thing, it sounds like a riverboat.
But you got to remember, this is interesting, not only because do they not have a sports betting partner yet. This license means that all 19 of the state licensed casinos can now offer sports betting.
That's incredible.
Every single state.
The great thing about Iowa is they're all spread out around the state, so that's really good. I mean,
there's no centralized location.
You're not too far. If you live in Iowa, you're not too far away from a casino, so that's great.
Yep. So all 19. I don't think there's any other state that. I guess Atlantic City has. New Jersey has all their casinos licensed for sports books, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And I don't know about Pennsylvania yet.
There's no Caesars sports book, but there's one right next to it.
But Caesars is licensed for sports books.
They're all licensed.
Yeah.
So.
That's it.
All right, the Turnpike Sports Book Report was brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE. That's PIKE, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and $20 bonus at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Stick around because we're going to have our all-important picks coming up because we've got to make up some ground from the craziness of last weekend.
I wouldn't call them all important because if
they're important to me.
Yeah.
So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE. When it comes to online sports betting, PlaySugarHouse.com offers players one of the best experiences in the state of New Jersey. They offer live in-game betting on sporting events worldwide, moneyline bets, point spreads, prop bets, play-by-play bets, and many more. All at PlaySugarHouse.com, your new home for sports betting in New Jersey. Take advantage of one of their 12 easy deposit methods to get in on all the action. And now, when you sign up at PlaySugarHouse.com using our promo code PIKE, they'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds at PlaySugarHouse.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And this portion of Turnpike Sports is brought to you by PointsBet.com. PointsBet has one of the best sign-up offers in New Jersey. Go to PointsBet.com and use our promo code PIKE. That's P-I-K-E, and when you deposit $50, you'll receive a $100 bonus. That's deposit $50, and you bet with $150. So sign up today at PointsBet using our promo code PIKE and start having some real fun. That's promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. PointsBet, stay sharp. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And we're off into the NFL picks for this week. As always, we'll pick three games, and either point spread or the over-under. We'll pick three each, and we'll be going to put them on the Turnpike Sports Radio blog. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button. The picks will be up about an hour or so after the show is released. Just a quick little update, and you're seeing this on our TV side. Season-to-date totals here.
This is bad.
No, you're okay. 18, 20, and 1. I'm 19, 18, and 2. I just happened to have one win last week. You lost all three games. I went 1 and 2.
I went 0 and 3, so there's no possible way I can do worse this week.
No,
so
you can only go up.
So there you go.
All right, well, why don't you start up, and we'll start the picks.
My first game is Denver Broncos versus the Houston Texans. The Texans are favored by 9.5 points with an over-under of 41.5. I love what I saw from Houston last week playing the New England Patriots, and I think they have an amazing home record of 5-1, and Deshaun Watson looked unbeatable. He went 18 for 25 and 234 yards with 3 touchdowns against a very good Patriot defense. And the Broncos are just awful with regard to their offense. I think they're ranked 30th in the NFL, and I don't think they have the horses to keep up with the Texan offense. So I'm taking Houston and laying the points.
Okay, my first game, the Tennessee Titans favored by 2.5 at the Oakland Raiders. There's an over-under of 47.5.
Titans are on a roll.
I'm riding the Titan train.
Oh, there you go.
I've bet on the Titans for the last 2-3 weeks here, and they've always won. Whether it was an over-under bet or whether it was a point spread. They actually come in.
Tannehill is their permanent quarterback. It'd be crazy to go with Mariota anymore.
What's interesting to me is they are coming into this game with the second highest scoring offense in the NFL.
Wow.
And I have to admit, Tannehill left Miami and Adam Gase, and now he looks like a totally different quarterback. So, Jets, I hope you're listening to this and take a look at this Gase situation that we've got for there. But as far as I know, he's staying the next year, so good luck there. Oakland seems to be going in a completely different direction now.
Yeah,
they've been losing. They've been losing badly. They lost to the Jets. They got killed by Kansas City. So I am going with the Titans and laying the points 2.5.
All right, my next game is the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are favored by 2.5 points with an over-under of 48. Carolina Panthers just seem like they're falling apart, especially considering they fired their head coach Ron Rivera this week.
Which was surprising.
It's very surprising. So, you would think they would wait till the end of the season, just ride it out, but I guess not. I guess there are some problems going on in there. Carolina has Christian McCaffrey, but they have no one else, and that's why they've lost 4 games in a row. Look, Atlanta has not set the world on fire. I think they're in a good place to play spoiler for a lot of potential playoff teams, and I don't think they'll win this one at home. So I'm taking Atlanta and laying the points.
Okay, my next game is the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 14, and there's an over-under of 42.5. I'll tell you, I watched
that's a lot.
I watched Detroit on Thanksgiving with David Blau, and he actually performed very well back there. He didn't look like the third-string backup. He looked like either the backup or even a competent starter on some other teams. But, the problem with Detroit's all year has been their defense, not their offense. Their offense can score points no matter who they're playing against. And it's something I think the Vikings are going to be exploiting this coming week. You got Thielen there looking at a big game probably. It's a 1:00 game, so no worries on what's his name there. Was it Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Apparently he does much better on 1:00 games than 4 or 8:00 or Monday night.
It must be a
Monday night.
thing.
I don't think he's won a game. I think he's 0-8.
0-8 now. But
I went with Minnesota last week.
I went with Seattle.
Stupid.
But again, you said at the beginning of this, the spread is way too big. But I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. So I'm going with the over 42.5.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. My next game is, I just talked about them, Seattle Seahawks, who are favored by 2.5, traveling to the Los Angeles Rams with an over-under of 46.5. Yeah, like I said, after watching Seattle on Monday night, I can't bet against them. I mean, granted, the Rams offense looked very good last week. However, they were playing a very bad Arizona defense. And up until last week, the Rams offense has been extremely unimpressive. I don't know what's wrong with Goff. He just doesn't look like the same quarterback as last year. I think this one's going to be a very high-scoring game, so you might want to take a look at the over in this one as well. But I think Russell Wilson and the Seattle offense will come out ahead in the end, and I'm taking Seattle.
All right, I went with this game too.
All right.
The over/under was interesting to me, the 46.5, because earlier this year in a primetime game, Thursday night, these two teams played against each other, and Seattle won 30-29, 59 points scored.
Yep.
Rams missed a last-minute field goal, which I think you're going to be seeing another high-scoring game here.
Yep.
I'm going with the over 46.5.
Yeah, I might take Seattle and the over in this game. So
recap.
So to recap, I'm taking Houston, Atlanta, and Seattle.
And I'm going with the Titans train of incredible offense, the over 42.5 in the Detroit-Minnesota game, and the over 46.5 of the Seattle and the Rams game.
Well, that'll do it for us. Enjoy the football, enjoy the hockey, enjoy the basketball, and win some money. And we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.